Yeah, I mean, I guess I have first to introduce myself. My name is Anestis Azas. I am Greek. I have studied here in Germany, but I work in Greece. I'm based in Athens. Most frequently I work together with another guy who is called Prodromos Tsinikoris, and we are right now also curating a venue in the National Theatre in Athens. I guess I have to speak a little bit about the theatre that we do and the participatory formats that we use. First of all, it is important to say that we were infected by the virus of the documentary theatre, working as assistants by Rimini Protocol for the performance Prometheus in Athens, which was in almost like 10 years ago, 2010. And it was a performance that combined this 100% model that I'm sure that you know, with the play Prometheus Bound. So it was a way to learn this technology of developing research projects. And the year after that, 2011, we did decide to develop our own projects in this genre. Why? This is Journey by Train, the play that we did, and this is the group of all people who worked there, and I'm going to speak a little bit about it. Why did we work on this genre? First of all, because it is more interesting than being all the time in a theater, speaking with other theater people and rehearsing for, I don't know, some weeks the same text. So it was more interesting to meet other people and to come in touch with other realities. And one more important thing about this decision was a kind of personal reaction to the mainstream media narration of the Greek crisis in our country and abroad. So I come back to this example of this play. It was about the gradual collapse of the Greek railways and its privatization, and it was done in a time where all media accused the state employees for the bankruptcy of the Greek state as lazy, corrupted, high-paid people. Generalize it, all of them. So what we try to do is to speak with the people, invite them to participate on stage and make visible a different point of view and different opinions. It was staged in July 2011 in the headquarters of the Greek Railways, in a hall where the board meets, with the participation of 6 workers in different positions of the hierarchy, and a lady who sings in the core of the railways, which is this lady here. So following the technology that we had learned by Daniel Wetzel and Helga Haug, we did interviews of as many people as possible who worked in this institution. Then script round followed for our team, where we worked on our text material, which is based in the interviews, and finally developed a script on which the protagonists used as performers of themselves. There was a strong activist character on this play, and so we realized by doing how important it was for the protagonists to speak in public about their reality and to use the political dimension of the stage. Now this is Prodromos, the guy that I worked together in Telemachos Should I Stay or Should I Go, a play that we did 2013 in Berlin. Palhaus Nauningstrasse was the last project of Sherman Langhoff before moving to Maxim Gorky, and it was an on-stage confrontation of 2 generations of Greek immigrants in Germany, people who came back in the 60s as Gastarbeiter, and people who come now because of the crisis, or at least at that time. So it was again this same concept or same way of thinking, it was a time where we had in Germany all these prejudices against the Greek lazy corrupted people. So we tried to bring on stage the personal stories and try to make a discourse about the German-Greek relationship, which at that time were in a very, very bad point, through the life of people who share the lives, through the protagonists who share the lives between these 2 countries. Some other projects followed, like Utopia in Progress, which was a play. These are the protagonists of Telemachos, once again. Utopia in Progress was in Constance with juveniles, Greek-German juveniles, growing in these two different countries. Again, the issue or the topic was the relationships of these two countries and the the picture that we have for each other. And we did in Heidelberg. Sonja Winkel is here. Stadtland Flucht, a play about refugee crisis with protagonist Nader Almoaz, a young boy from Syria whose brother at that time was on the borders of Idomeni. He had already managed to be in Germany, but his brother was stuck in the borders. So the project was again a kind of an activist action, of trying to emerge. I mean, getting out of the situation of these two brothers to speak about the general situation in our continent, politically, socially, personally. But one of the most important plays that we managed to develop together with Prodromos was Clean City. We were very influenced by Shermin Lackhoff and her concept of a post-migrant theater, meaning narrations about Germany from the perspective of the others, of the people who live here but are not of German heritage. And we thought we have to do something like this also in our country, in Greece. And when we came back, at that time, it was a time where this neo-fascist party of Golden Dawn was rising, and they got like 7% in the elections, and they used to speak a lot in their rhetoric. They used in the rhetoric the term of cleaning, which in Greek it's called katharos, kathari, and it's the same word that we use for pure. So you had directly this whole Nazi discourse, Nazi rhetoric. And so we took it a little bit literally and asked, but who is actually cleaning this country? And it's mostly foreigner the cleaners, the foreign people who do this job. So this is how we developed Clean City. We began working on Clean City. What is the trailer? Yeah, and I show you first a little bit. This is the trailer of the performance. It was 2016.
Ζούμε ανάμεσά σας.
Between you.
Χειριζόμαστε τοξικές ουσίες.
We use toxic.
Βγάζουμε και το πιο δύσκολες λεκέρες. Δουλεύουμε βαρέα αντιγυνά. Η γιαγιά σου μας προτείνει.
Your grandma is.
Τα κάνουμε όλα και συμφέρουμε. Καθαρίζουμε την πόλη. Ξεβρωμίζουμε τον τόπο. Είμαστε οι καθαρίστες της Αθήνας.
We had this concept of superheroes because working together at that time with Margarita Tsomou in the dramaturgy, who I don't know if you know her, she's a feminist activist and also she works in the Missy magazine as redacteurin, how do you say this, in the redaction. And she insisted now we should not present people as victims. So this is very, very important. Go through humor, go through to show the strategies and to understand people who are in a movement. I mean, especially if you work again and again on the topics of migration, as empowered individuals who change the world. Also, Vasilis Tsianos, professor in Hamburg, is an influence for us. So there could be more to say, and I could be better prepared and I could say it better, but just to make a conclusion, we understand this kind of theater, of reality theater, me and Prodromos, as a way to achieve knowledge from the source, especially regarding political and social issues, a way to gain a non-intermediated access to the people, to the problems, to the contradictions, and try to develop on stage a three-dimensional portrait of reality, different than the black-white dramaturgy that we had that we have very, very often in the media and that dominated the whole discussion of the Greek crisis in the last years. Now I'm speaking from the perspective of somebody who works in Greece, of course. So we understand the reality of documentary theater as an attempt for us and the protagonists to take position on the issues and to develop and cultivate a political consciousness. Developing a narration from the point of view of the others. Yeah, I think that's more or less what I had to say first of all, and we can come back to the questions.
Thank you so much.